San Diego Comic-Con was not without its controversies and issues. Of course, we had the zombie run with someone being hit by a car, but we also had the ongoing, well, there was an issue with a young girl who seemed to have been assaulted and maybe sexually assaulted. She was found bloody in a ditch. Later, though, police did release a statement saying that her injuries seemed consistent with a fall. But before that, we had a lot of talk in the public and in the news about what had happened to this girl, how can we get more information, and for a while, it was suspected that a man had possibly sexually and physically assaulted her.
I mean, if what the police found is correct, and I have no reason to doubt it, then I'm glad that, you know, small mercies, she wasn't sexually assaulted from what they're seeing. It's a strange case because it reminds me a little bit of the Boston bombing, when social media kind of jumped on, these guys did it. And everyone was pointing information, and it turned out to be wrong.
Massively wrong. And then some poor men got fingers pointed at them who were completely innocent.
Right. I mean, this guy, I mean, it's weird that he says they got into an argument. He knew her, evidently.
Well, he said he had, you know, he was driving her to Comic-Con. It was her first time, and he wanted to take her home, but there had been some kind of argument, and she ran off. And what seems to have happened was maybe she fell after that. Perhaps some drugs were involved.
She did have at least alcohol in her system. I'm not sure about drugs. She was in a relationship with this guy who drove her to Comic-Con. I guess they found a breakup. Yeah, they found a breakup text.
17 and 29?
Yes, I read on the internet, so take that at face value, that they had found a breakup text message on his phone. And he claims she said she was 20. I mean, you know, draw whatever conclusions you want. So, and he had furnished alcohol for her at a party. So he was arrested for, you know, contributing to the delinquency of a minor and sexual contact with a minor. Yes.
Yeah. And also, like, even if her injuries are from she got drunk, climbed up a fence, and fell.
That's what they think. Like, she was climbing up the fence to, I believe, the Marriott.
Right. And I've seen that fence. That's a tall fence. Even if that's what happened, and it looks like it is, it's a weird situation to have her with that guy. And he even says, you know, we argued, and she went off, and I didn't follow. And I immediately thought, look, Comic-Con and events like this, that's not a place where you can let someone, whatever age they are, like, frankly, if they are female and dressed in cosplay, like, it can be a dangerous place. It's dangerous when you're not dressed in cosplay, or you're not dressed in anything. True. You know. Yeah, I don't mean to imply that they were asking for it or put themselves in an extra situation. Like, it's.
That's just the conclusion that everybody jumped to. Right. She was a cosplayer. She was a young, attractive female wearing revealing clothing. Obviously, there's assault and this poor girl. And some people say she was asking for it. It was a hoax or whatever.
And even if this didn't happen to her, like, it is an issue at Comic-Con and at events like this, that there is sexual harassment.
Yes, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I was also harassed and groped by a man. It turned out, well, I reacted very angrily. I yelled at him a lot, and then I had the hotel kick him out. I wish I'd taken a picture of his face and put it on social media, because this dick was completely unrepentant and felt like, oh, well, you're here, I'm allowed to do this. He didn't give a shit that I was angry or upset that I had had my ass grabbed by some stranger running by.
And that's not an isolated incident.
No, it's not. We have Adrian Curry, I'm sure there are plenty of people who were harassed or groped.
I have a couple of friends who this weekend had a situation like that. And it's ridiculous. I think they had the statistic of, well, like, only 3% or 5% or something, like, said that they encountered this. Like, okay, but think about how many people are at Comic-Con. 3%, that's a couple thousand people.
I mean, I think until you experience it, you think like, oh, not a big deal, get over it. It was upsetting, it was violating, it made me feel tiny and powerless, and that no one has the right to take that away from anyone else, and it is a big deal.
No, I got nothing to add to that. That's exactly right, and it's stupid to act like this isn't an issue at places, and it's stupid that it wasn't too long ago where Comic-Con was saying they didn't need to clarify a harassment policy because that implies that there's a problem.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a problem.
There is a problem, and denying it will not get you anywhere. No. Pretty much is the point that I want to make here. Even though that this story, it turned out very strangely. I mean, I think the most interesting part of the story was before we had a clearer idea of what was going on, because a group of people were saying, oh, well, you know, this is a hoax, this didn't really happen, obviously it's fake. And there were other people who were saying, hey, if you have information, give it to the police. We got to do something.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how there was that dichotomy there before we found out anything for pretty certain.
And the fact is, people are going to use this to keep putting out that dichotomy, where like some people are saying, well, see, she wasn't sexually assaulted, so this is
everything's fine. So
everything's fine, and we just jump to these conclusions, and there's no evidence, and that's bull. Because
people jump to these conclusions because that atmosphere is there.
Yes.
Because that seems like something that happens all the time, because it does.
And we see it, and we hear about it.
And we need to do something about it.
And we need to do something about it, and we need to stop downplaying certain things of like, well, that's an isolated incident or something. Like, no, it's just stop it. It's happening.
Agreed. It's not an isolated. Harassment is not an isolated incident. It is happening regardless of how this story ended. It is a problem, and it's going on, and it sucks to be the victim of that. Please leave a comment below in the section, and please be sure to subscribe. Oh, I can't get through the ending.